just realized that it's not the first time I'm meeting Waziri. He just whispered to me that at one time he was actively involved in affairs of gay resident associations, and those are very strong members of Kara, so that's when we must have met for the first time. So I'm happy that even before he came to do what he's doing now, he was already actively involved in community affairs, and that means that he has the passion for community work. I'm also impressed by the strong team from the county government that is here. I think the fact that there's a whole team that has joined us here, shows how important you take issues of engagement with the public and just getting to hear what they have to say. And that's a very, very good sign, because the counties where you go and nobody wants to attend the meeting, nobody wants to face the citizens. They fear these kind of platforms for reasons they best understand. So I think we've had quite a bit from our presenters, and I believe that you've learned something. I also believe that you have something to contribute in terms of questions or comments. And so we are going to have a quick plenary session, and my colleague will help with the microphone. Before I do that, allow me to recognize the presence of Fred Lau. Where are you, Fred? Fred Lau, who is the Vice Chair of Machakos County CSO Network and Uraia County Coordinator. Karibu sana, and these are the people that I know are doing a lot of work in making sure that communities are organized and they're able to engage actively on a number of issues. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's now your turn to ask your question or make your remarks so that we can be able to engage more on this subject of discussion. So if you have a question or a comment or a remark, please raise your hand, and then we'll be able to give you the chance. Let me see all the hands first. Those who want to ask a question so that I can have an idea the kind of numbers we are talking about. Okay. Very well. So we'll have the questions. Let's start from that as we come here. So just your question, you direct to the speaker that you want to answer the question. Just say you want to so-and-so to respond to that. And make it very brief, please, and to the point. Let's not have another speech or presentation. So we can do that quickly. Let's start with the young lady over there.
Yes, thank you. My name is Grace. I am a Machakos University comrade and a student leader for that matter. I'm happy for your presentations and how you presented to us the leadership and the strategies you're implementing for public participation to do well. And I have a few problems and sort of questions. One presenter said here that money is the problem, and we understand our youth. If there's nothing like a token, we won't come for whatever participation, whether to benefit us or the leaders versus us. And the question is, money is the problem. We do not go to plan for our own money. That was another point. So the money is there, because if we do not go to plan for our money, the money is there. So now that we do not go to plan for that money, what happens at the end of the day to that money? Where does it end up at? And now that you have such organizations that are questioning it and seeing to it that the youth are very involved in planning their own money, which strategies have succeeded? Because yes, we believe and we accept we are prisoners of the media, you know, WhatsApp, Twitter and all that. Which strategies have succeeded in seeing to it that the youth, we can meet youth, you know, we can find this youth, we can talk to them via which means have succeeded, so that we see the go ahead. We've tried this, these have not succeeded. But we've tried capturing them in this way, and we have succeeded in finding a number of them. So which strategies have succeeded, or which do you think would succeed? And my last question is, what have been done to rectify those strategies that have failed? Because if you know you call the youth in this way, there are no tokens, they don't come. What do you take home? What do you take home? Like, they didn't come, we didn't have their participation. What happens next? Yes, please, thanks.
Maybe pertinent questions. One more there, and then we come this side.
Okay, to Waziri, all our speakers, the grassroots leaders, and the greater residents of Machakos, greetings to you. I'm Marcus Amol. I'm a student leader, Machakos University, also a resident of Movuti Ward. I just had some few questions. Just to start with, my greater concern, we as the students of Machakos University and the entire Machakos community, what do the county government have for us? Because we believe even we contribute to a share of the tax, of the revenues within Machakos County. What does the county have for us? Another thing, to maybe Waziri or to Bwana Joseph, it was a proposal. I believe as a business community, we contribute much to the revenue, but one of the requirements in setting up, maybe when starting a business, a license is mandatory. And at times, with the youths, as from the analysis that has been done through the entire session, it is turning out like, I loved what Bwana Waziri said, that the youths are now having this spirit of, they just don't care, they don't care. And this means, today I have some business idea, I'll run into forming some business because I have some little capital to start it out, but I'll not follow the legal procedure. The legal procedure being licensing. I believe even from town to the student community there, students are suffering because somebody runs into forming a business without a license, and now it turns out that the legal authorities will come, and the action they take is to arrest. And with that, it's going to cause some financial constraints and issues will escalate. How about if we have a proposal that these legal licenses move from these shops, and they tell you this is how to go about the process, and you can't register without coming the police to start arresting you. Maybe my other issue is still on the youths. I've gone across the entire Machakos 8-9 constituencies. We're in forums with the various respective youths from the various wards, and it's turning out that youth are very idle. And they're idle because from even the analysis we're given, the county government has only accommodated 6,700 employees. How about the other graduates? This renders there's no space, there's no empowerment, or they're not being shown possible ways to maybe venture in. This makes them idle, and being idle, they engage into drug abuse. Like, for example, if you can do a survey from town to this place to even the other areas, youths are involved in these drugs. And this means in the dark hours, they engage in things like the many vices we see around. It's a congratulation to Kazi Mtaani that was there. I believe it gave youths time to maybe get involved in some of the issues. There's been this slogan, I'm not getting masculine, but males, the male gender, especially from the youth, they are getting neglected to some extent. And this is coming depressed, they are getting depressed, and as a man, you can't speak out. I believe ladies have the potential, and they open up to their friends. But for men, tumekaliwa kiplani. And I believe you hear so many suicidal cases. Many of them run into drugs to maybe hide out their stress. So maybe, what do the county government has for us? I believe from the national, and I've got to learn from one of the speakers that there is 30% from the constituency and the national government allocated for the youth, women, and the PWDs. Even the tenders and even the maybe any proportion that should be treated in that manner. How are we supposed to get this? Are we neglected or are we included? Then just to finalize,
Last one, please, make it brief.
it's just a thank you. I believe because many of us, I just did some survey last week, or one of my free days. Then I come to realize that youth spend close to 12 hours of the 24 hours if they idle online. So I believe, Bwana Waziri, programs like texting, multiple texts to these youths on sensitization will make a better impact on communication to issues pertaining the county. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. There was him, and then he come to the front. There are some questions there.
All protocol of staff, good morning. My name is Mnangat Shadrach. I'm a former president of Machakos University, 2019-2020 academic year. I'm here on behalf of our current president. He's not around right now. I have been invited by Jacob. Thank you so much. I only have 3 comments here.
Please make them in form of questions. Are questions about comments? Are there questions?
Okay.
Or just comments? Okay, make it brief.
It's a comment, yes, right.
Yeah, just make it brief.
Okay, we as a youth, it has been very difficult for us to get in touch with the county government because of very long procedures. For example, if you want to meet a governor, if you want to meet a deputy governor, and all that, it is very difficult to meet. I don't know why. 2, the county government also is not supporting when it comes to youth activities. For example, here at Machakos University, we have in the schools and all that, but sometimes, as a county government, they have to support us, right? And also, we have some activities also for the youths. So we are requesting the county government of maybe of Machakos to support us, because we as Machakos University, we do contribute to revenue of Machakos County. For example, when you come maybe during our holidays, unapata hata mama mboga hawezi fungua. Kwa nini? Hakuna comrades. Ingine pia about bursary allocation. We should have at least bursary allocation from the county government due to our contribution. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Let's come here in front.
Kwa majina, mimi naitwa Joseph Kimeu na ni mkaaji wa Machakos, nikiwa natoka mahali inaitwa Kalama. Good morning every one of you. All protocols observed. I want just to comment, and I want you to give me about 5 minutes, because my comments will be very much reflected on what we are discussing here. Yes. I started Machakos Residents Association in 2002, being by that time a secretary. The person you had mentioned here, Kabila, was my errand nilikuwa natuma yeye huko kwa maofisi, lakini I was the architecture, and Mr. Lau is a witness for that. He was in that team with me. Our objective by that time, I can compare it with what Joanna was born before Jesus. There was a mission for Joanna, was a mission for Mara. We were assisted by German, Conrad Foundation, and their objective, which they wanted us to meet before the change of the constitution, was to teach the people, to provide civic education as to what the people should be demanding from their own government. We started with engaging local government authority. There was some money given as Latif through the last term. And we went deeply to understand what this money was intended for. There were some challenges because sometimes we seek information we are not given. I remember writing a letter to somebody in Nairobi, a lady who was responsible to local governments, demanding to know why we cannot be allowed to access information from the local government by that time. And a letter was written to them that we should be given any information we want, and that opened an opportunity for us to know what was meant by Latif funds, transfer, last time the program, the transfer funds, but it was absurd. We can say the war, it was messed up. There was no structure or plan because the local councillors were pocketing the money to go and give where they want. And when we teach the people to write proposals and to prioritize, our councillor comes with the 400 shillings in the pocket, 400,000, anasema hii nitajenga ngeta hapa 20,000, nitajenga hii kitu hapa 20,000. Tunamuuliza, si waulize hao wanataka nini? Anasema mimi ndio councillor hapa. We tried very much, but we did not achieve much. But I can say we did not fail. We came, the constitution was changed, and what we proposed to be put in the constitution was put, civic education. But it has never been implemented from national level up to the county level. If you go to see the act, which is working with the governors, there is a civic education provision, which they are supposed to provide money, first to educate the community and to make them participate. How can you participate an ignorant person and you don't know why you are going to participate for? People are saying there is a failure on participation. You ask people to come and participate for what? They must be educated to take action, to hone that type of, to hone what they are to participate to do. If they are told to participate for the allocation of funds, according to their demands, they must be educated to create that demand in them. The other day we had a quarrel with the councillor, with the MCA, who want to build a hospital where there is another hospital. And the people are clamping, wanasema asante mheshimiwa, tunataka utujengee hospitali ingine iko pale na ingine iko hapa. I think we wrote and we challenged it and it was stopped. Kama Minister of Health is here, you will say he got a letter from us stopping that nonsense. People, they are not participating on public meetings because they don't know why they are going to participate for. Provide education. Make a budget for education. That budget will remain money for participation. If you educate people why they should come to the meeting, the money which is left behind on that budget will pay for their tea when they are coming for participation. We are mixing two things. We are talking about participation, but we are not talking about public education. To educate them to come. Munaandika ma villagers. Administrators, even if they don't know how to educate people why they want to come to the meetings. What are you educating them for? What are you employing them for? Asante. Hata sitaki kuongea zaidi.
Thank you. My name is Freddy Lau. I'm the Vice Chairman, Machakos County Civil Society Network. And I'm also the coordinator with the Uraia Trust, that civic education, civic engagement, and institutional transformation. I'm very grateful to the CEO of CARA for this noble call and forum that you brought us together kama wakazi wa Machakos. Tulianzisha kama Kimeo alivyosema, tulikuwa na Machakos Residents Association which was very powerful during the vacant local authorities. Na najua labda Kidhi amesema hiyo wakati alikuwa anaona Kavila tulikuwa tunafanya pamoja. Na pia tumekuwa na ugatuzi, tumekuwa na counties, na pia tumeweza kuwa na majadiliano, engagements, dialogues. Unajua we have moved from confrontations, demonstrations to dialogues. And we believe that demonstrations as a last resort. Tukiwaambia sana na wakatae, tutaingia kwa street. We are not cowards. But we have been engaging with Kinachalo and the ministers, the relevant departments within the county, and we've been achieving a lot. And even in legislation, because most of these things kama hazijaweka katika mikakati fulani ama sheria, hatutaweza kufanya chochote. Na hizo policy documents, legislations wamekuwa wakitupatia kama network, na tumekuwa tukikaa chini, tunajadili, tunahakikisha kwamba tunaweka mambo ambayo yanahitajika ya mwananchi ili waweze kuzingatia. There is no document, policy document ambayo imepita bila kupitia kwetu. Isipokuwa the first term ndio tulikuwa na challenge ya county governments, documents zilikuwa zinapitishwa. Tumeongelelea mambo ya public participation, yameongelelewa hapa na Ngumi, Kindani, Professor Lewa ameongea. Na public participation is not just an illusionary activity whereby people just come and names are collected in those participation names, and then you are just going to justify why you are doing a given activity. It is very important for people to understand why they are participating, why have they come for a given forum. Kwa maana tukipatia administrators wale wa village, and you know what happened, waziri. No, alikuwa mbele yangu Mumbuni High School. You may not recall me, but I know him. Lakini jinsi ambavyo waliajiri hao watu ilifanywa internally. And I know some of you hawangeweza, they had no powers to overrule that. And that is why we are having some incompetent administrators who don't know their role is to coordinate and educate the public on the roles and the stand and the policies of the county government. And that is where the mess is. And unapata, unaita public participation, anaita tu wale watu walipatia basari. Alichukua majina apeana basari, aidha kulikuwa na kitu ilikuwa inapeanwa na county government, anaita tu hao. So what do we expect them to? What quality of participation are you expecting from the people? And that is why inafika wakati unapata 5 people attending social hall. Social hall tulikuwa tunajaza, tunauliza maswali, lakini tunapata saa hizi we don't have a feedback mechanism from the county government. I think that is something that is lacking. But I remember early this year we worked on some document about feedback, and I sat with my friend Mwaniki like 3 hours trying to look at that document and how best, because kama watu hawatapata feedback, every other time unaenda Kimakimwe wanasema tunataka hii barabara iwekwe nini, maram, iwekwe maram, next year maram. We need to move from that. We need some feedback. Hii mwaka tumefanya maram, next year tutafanya like 1 kilometer of tarmac. That is how people develop, and that is how public participation becomes valuable to our people if they see something is being impacted in their lives. Another thing is about the academia. Professor Lewa, thank you so much for your presentation. Powerful. And I like the way you've confessed. You have just become consultants. We want to see the academia of the 1970s, 80s, early 90s, who are out to protect the public and who are out to critique constructively the government, national and county level. Kwa sababu kama umekuwa, this guy is becoming a presidential material aspirant, you go and consult for him, you consult for the other person. Public wana consult na nani? Wananchi. Kina mama mboga, who is consulting for them? Because these are the voices. We could hear academia standing up and say, government, this is not the way to do it. This is not the way to do it. But nowadays, wameingia chini ya maji. Where are the student movements? Nimesikia, ulikuwa president, you are leaders here. We are talking about that. Where are the student movement leadership? Initially tungesikia watu wamesimama wanaambia government hii haifanyiki venye inastahili kufanyika. Mji wa Machakos haujapangwa vizuri. Kama saa hizi, go to the bus park. Kuanza kunyesha, watu watakimbia wapi? Kila kitu mmepanga watu hapa Okas. They are there all over. Saa hizi you have people paying permits along the corridors. Watu wamepanga manguo huko, maviatu. When are those people in the shops going to sell? Wenye tunatembea kwa miguu tutapitia wapi? Na kuna tuk barabara zimejaa. Those are the kind of things we need to hear from the leadership, yeah, students, so that you don't say we don't have civil society in Machakos. You are also part of it. Lakini mumejiingiza sana, and I want to challenge you. Mumejiingiza sana, tukipita hapa, you are the best merchants. The best merchants. Wamesahau the university is the highest institution. As an institution, we want to hear the voices from that institution. We want to see you not going to merchandise. It's good. Either it is for your livelihood, lakini we want to see that voice. Ambapo, wewe, ukipanga vitu pale, ukiangalia hiyo mtaro iko hapo chini, imeoshwa, imesafishwa. Lakini bado you are doing the merchandise pale, hiyo mtaro, maji chafu ya taka, iko pale. Those are the participation we want to see, so that we improve on the livelihood of our people. But I believe we can be where we are because we are the resident owners of this town. We can improve on it. We can work on it. Now, about leadership. Tumeongea hapa, Kimeo ameongea about political leadership. We need to move because every other time we are getting civic education, it's about the values of our leader. Tumeongea hiyo miongo yote, tumeongea about values. Naambiwa integrity sijui nini, lakini bado tunasema huyu ni na unachagua huyo. We need to move from that level. We need to give our people political education so that we also get institutional memories of our land. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Very well said. Let's take a few more and then now we go back to our panelists as we close. So Apple, just give a microphone. You are then the lady. Please let's make it brief because we've overshot our time.
Good afternoon. I think it's afternoon. I'm Julius Mulwa. I'm IGAD C1 reporter representing Machakos. I'm reporting on early warning and hate speech, and especially where we are going during wakati wa siasa. Yangu ningependa kusema maneno mawili tu about pollution. I think we have been attending almost every public participation in Machakos, especially in Machakos town. And I think we have been taken for granted, or when we go to the public participation, we are taken as rubber stamps just to attend the public participation. Why am I saying so? There was a time, I think, Mr. Chalo, you can bear me witness, I talked about the asbestos iron sheets which were moved from the Machakos General Hospital. They were dumped somewhere. I mentioned about them. And instead of the asbestos, because I think we all know the dangers of the asbestos, instead of the government of Machakos disposing them, you just went there and you hammered iron sheets on the compound so that we may not know whether they are there. And I think if there is anything to affect the residents of the Machakos, you'll be involved. The other thing is about the noise pollution in Machakos. I think now it's too much. As early as 4 in the morning, in almost every village, you will find or hear loudspeakers from churches and pastors who are preaching as early as 4 in the morning. We have students who do wake up very early in the morning to study. We have mothers, we have sick people who maybe they didn't have sleep during the night, and that's the time they are getting their sleep. And when we talk to those pastors and churches, they say that they are God-sent pastors. And I think we have so many churches around. We have Catholic, we have AIC, we have ABC, and we don't have or hear those noises in the morning. During lunch hour, when you move around here in the town, in fact, if you are seated somewhere with a friend, I don't think you will have your conversation together because of the noise around the town. So, as the government, what are you planning to do about the pollution in the Machakos town? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Give the mic to the lady next. Oh, you want to sanitize? Just pass.
Thank you. All protocols observed. I have only 3 questions, very brief. First is to Mr. Gumi. All presentations were very nice. I have really enjoyed it. And my first question is, how has the youth in Machakos participated in the development of the county voluntary national reviews that are normally reviewed at the high-level political forum, and normally they are taken to the national level by the Council of Governors. So I would like to hear how much they have participated or how you wish to participate. My second question goes to Mr. Joseph Kidu. Thank you for that presentation. And my question is, how better does the development partners, we are in line and of course in consultation with the public and the government, plan to secure food security and especially cold storage for the perishable goods, cereal goods, so that we can have responsible production and responsible consumption. That's something we would wish to see, how you could innovate for a better planning and sustainability in Machakos County and the entire Ukambani area. My third question goes to to Minister Kioko. Thank you for that really precise presentation. And my question is, in consultation with the community, the CSOs, the youth, the women, people with disabilities, what are the opportunities that are in place in mainstreaming natural water resources in Machakos, especially tapping the Kilimanjaro waters, as opposed to increasing the certification and climate change in Ukambani, whereby, like in Komarok, where I live, I was just consulting with Dr. Mulandi, my colleague here. In Komarok alone, there are over 15 boreholes. And you can see, if my borehole is not very deep, in 1 year, it will be down. So the water level is of wanding. There's increase of desertification. How is that happening? And the very last is, Machakos General Hospital is at a wanding state. So how do you intend to do so that at least it's just next to us? If I fall sick, it may take quite long to be taken into the hospital and treated. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You must be a teacher. Yes. So, are there more questions? Let's have him, and then Vincent, please help with the mic.
Good morning. My name is John Mwaniki. Sorry I came a bit late because I was traveling. And John Mwaniki, I'm the outgoing chairman of Machakos CSO. We had our AGM just 2 weeks ago. And so for the last 7 years, I was the chair. And Lau was vice and Ngomi were part of the committee members. I'm the CEO of BD. BD is an NGO here in town. I will not ask a question as such, but I just want to make 1 or 2 comments because I thank you, Professor, about presentation and your passion for the bottom up. I have a problem with that also, but I'm a believer of bottom up and top down, you know. A tree will take water from bottom to up, and the leaves will make food from top to down, you know. There must be a convergence on that. That's for another day. I just want to reiterate what Mr. Joseph has said about civic education, because on public participation in this county, we've been part of it, and we are happy, by the way, as in the civil society, the way the government is now doing this second term. The engagement level is is moving on well, and if we move on that direction, I'm sure it's going to be quite good in the years coming. The deputy governor has also been quite open. He has a very open door policy. I remember one time there was a meeting with church leaders, and Lau raised up an issue about trees that were being cut in town in a meeting, and he took up that very serious, and that was stopped forthwith. And so mine is just to ask if through CARA we can have support for civic education in this county. Once the citizens are educated, are empowered, they will be able to take their responsibility. Because if people are not educated, they will not be able to know exactly what is their citizen responsibility. And therefore, we can help the government by doing so, those of us who are in the civil society, because as we have all seen, whenever you go to the budget hearing sessions, you look at the money that is available, you look at the way they are allocated, and you realize that they try to allocate the money, you know, and people want many things to be done. But again, when you come again to the finance bill, where we want to raise the money, issues arise again. Watu wataki kutoa hizo pesa, lakini wanataka kazi ifanywe. And of course, I know there is that balancing. So on my side, I'll be able just to say, let's educate our people, because the politicians that we all the time hit left, center, and right and left, the politicians do not come from hell. They are our brothers and sisters. And tomorrow when you become an MCA yourself, most likely you may behave the same way they are behaving. You know, this is Kenya. And I tell you, unless you have got a mind change, it doesn't matter who will be elected. They will still behave the same way, because politicians do not come from anywhere else. They come from our communities, they are our people, they are our brothers and sisters. And as long as the policies that are there are the way they are, itaendelea tu hivyo hivyo. And we speak so loud when we are outside. When you get inside, unanyamaza. You know? Kwa hivyo, what will make us not keep quiet is when you know our rights. And therefore, mine is just to thank you for this forum and ask how can we educate our people. Because the government currently is put in place very good procedures for public participation. And you know very well that BBI, one of the things that knocked out the BBI was public participation. And speaking from a legal mind, which I have, the question is, what is this public participation? What is the maximum number? How do we achieve it? You know, we need legal frameworks to be able to define this. Because the county is able to announce public participation, but go to the social hall, you find very few people. And they listen. I tell you, they do their level best, but though, of course, there are galleries that are taking place, but as we are now, let us educate our people. That will be.
Thank you very much. I think I'll give the lady behind you, and then we come here so that you can close.
Hamjambo nyote. All protocols observed. I'm Elizabeth Mutiso, representing Mwala Makutano Ward. My question is, I had 3 questions. One of them, my friend has asked me the question about the youths, on the allocations of them, how to plan on their allocations, but I think ameiongelelea. I have 3 groups. I have the PWDs, I have the women's, I have the youth. I have 145 groups in Mwala Makutano Ward, and I've been attending these public participations, giving out our issues, our challenges about these PWDs. Meskia, I can't remember the name, amesema juu ya mambo ya PWDs. Nimekuwa nikifuatilia the allocations of the PWDs because in our area, these groups are really suffering because hao watu like me, niko na familia ambayo iko na 5 children blind, they cannot see, wengine hawajaenda shule, wengine wamesoma wamefikia mahali, na nikafollow one of the representatives here in Machakos, Katumo. Akaniambia the allocation from national government ikifika in Machakos count wanashangaa inaenda wapi, because these groups are not receiving anything, they are just suffering. Wamekuwa wakifuatilia the cards zile za PWDs, wengine wamejaza forms, hawajui waende wapi, hawajui wapeleke wapi. There's no anyone wa kuwa guide mahali watapeleka. Ingine ni hii ya women. Tukisikia kutoka kwa women rep, ofisi yake ya GAF imekuwa ikituelezea ya kwamba kuna some allocations ya women groups ambao wanastahili kupata, but down there on the grassroots you cannot see anything. Hakuna any funds za women groups, PWDs, pia za youths. Kwanza wana youths vile mmesema, they are good kudemonstrate wakati ambao hawapati chochote. Ni sawa, wana youths hawana kazi. Na county government, sometimes muangalie, to support hawa wana youth. Maana wakati wa politicians wakikuja wakisema tunaitisha viti, wengi wanataka wana youth wawasupport. Wako pale wanawaita. Kwa nini hao wana youth tusiwasupport sana? Kama vile president wa huyu wa university ambaye ametoka, amesema ya kwamba ni vingumu kufikia governor. Viongozi wacheni niwaambie, this mandate tumepewa na Mungu kuongoza hawa watu. Na sometimes tunasikia nyinyi mnatupenda wakati mko na mahitaji, lakini wakati wa shida zetu mko mbali na sisi. Kama like now, hawa wana youth wanaweza taka kuona governor, lakini inakuwa very difficult, hawezi kumfikia. Maana hiyo chance na hiyo connection kumfikia inakuwa ngumu. So nawauliza viongozi, please make sure hawa wanarika wanafikia viongozi, wanaalikwa kwa public participation, na mnawaachilia wanafuatilia chochote ambacho walileta kwa meza. Kweli kimefanyika. Wamama chenye walileta kama PWDs na wahurumia sana. Kama hizo area za Mwala, sisikiangi any representative wa PWDs. Every time wanauliza, mama uko wapi? Mama uko wapi? Tunaumia, tunalia. Kama hiyo familia tumeenda pale, nimefuatilia women rep. Please mama, saidia hii familia inalia. Watoto 5. Wengine hawajaenda shule, wamefikisha 13 years na bado wako pale. Hakuna nyumba, inaendelea kuanguka. Please viongozi, mkipata anything ya PWDs, jaribuni iwafikie. Kama governor angekuwa hapa, kama huyu deputy, ningemwambia tunalia. Hawa watu wetu wanaumia pale. Na walemavu, sio walemavu kila mahali. Mungu kuna mahali aliwapatia waongoze. So make sure muafikie, wafikiwe na kitu, at least wainue.
Thank you very much. Let's have here, tuko karibu, we want to finish now because of time. Brief and to the point, please.
Habari zenu tena. Mimi naitwa Abdi Juma from Subkem District Council hapa Machakos, also representing Jamia Mosque. Yangu ni kidogo tu. Lau hapa ameuliza swali zuri sana, hasa kwa upande wenu, upande executive. Bwana Waziri, mimi sijajua mnatumia criteria gani kuandika ward administrators ama whatever you call them. Mimi tumekuwa na shida hasa mjini. Unaona, ukitoka mosque unaenda cross, nyuma kuna hii mitaro ya kupeleka maji, alafu kuna mahali watu wanatupa takataka just behind the mosque. Watu wanatoa takataka town, wanakuja kutupa hapo. Ukiendelea chini uje ushike njia ya kwenda sokoni from Peter Mulei, pia there is also another point, watu wanatupa takataka. What happens ni kwamba when we come to the rainy seasons, we have a lot of problems. Inabidi wengine wetu tufunge masimu. Why? Because hauwezi lala. Wale watu, hiyo mitaro kwa vile imeblock, maji yanarudi nyuma, yanaingia kwa plot. Nimejaribu kumengage village administrator. Hata mimi ilifika pale na muonea huruma, because it's as if hata yeye alikuwa juu vile atafanya. Watu wenu wa kuenforce license, unfortunately wakati wa siasa hapa, tunajua wakubwa wenu ni watu wa siasa, license zilikuwa suspended for some time, then immediately zikarudi zikaanza kuulizwa. Sisi tuko kama mimi ama landlord, niko na vijana wamekodisha kinyozi, vitu kama hizo. Unfortunately niliona hata mashini zao zinachukuliwa. You see, vitu kama hivi ndio we are talking about, this engagement, public participation, whatever. It should work on both sides. Upande wa maofisa wenu. In fact, your antagonism between the county and the people is coming from practices kama hizo, which is not very, very good. Ya mwisho, tungependa hii participation kama hizi ni very, very good. But mimi nimemengage governor, Maliti, wale ambao tumekuwa labda mara kadhaa katika semina kadhaa on, for example, electrification, which is a very, very good thing. Leo Machakos imeng'ara vizuri sana. But we have a problem where stima zinapotea. Now when stima zinapotea, we are talking about insecurity. Sisi tunaishi mjini, wapangaji wetu ni watu wa mjini, tunasikia usiku watu wakipiga kelele wakiwa wanavamiwa ni wakora. You know, when you light up the area, wakora wanaenda mbali zaidi. Today we don't know kwa nini mimi nimemengage governor, deputy wake, sijapata a clear, maybe baada ya kuweka vitu kama website ama nini, a clear maybe a toll free telephone ama nini where I can complain when, sorry, I can complain when hizi stima zinapotea, rather than kuwa nitatafutana na watu ambao sijui nitawapata wapi. Hii ni service delivery, na service delivery na public participation, I think they are one way or the other connected.
Thank you very much.
Kwa hivyo, the last thing ule mzee amesema pale, I don't know why people don't want to talk about civic education. Hata kina Lau hapa, this is the most important thing. If there was civic education, leo participation ingekuwa iko kwa hali, hata mayouth hawange shun away from whenever you call them ama vitu kama hivyo. Thank you very much.
Asante sana.
Mjambo. Yes, my name is Nason Kenywa, and I want to thank the conveners of this meeting because it is a very important meeting. My name, I said, is Kenywa Nason. I've participated kwa haya mambo ya public participation in regards to what is required under the finance bill about, from 2013. It's only this year he never participated. Now, other than that legal requirement of public participation, there is another legal requirement of equity. Yale mambo tunapea county government itufanyie, you should also follow to ensure equity when you are selecting these projects. Unakuta award as 2 locations. Na unakuta 80% of that budget inaenda kwa location moja. Na hii ingine inapata 20%. That should be ensured. Balancing of project should be done by the officers. Jambo lile lingine ni how you select your county projects, because some projects seems to be, looks like county because they are never mentioned, but they are done. Like the market stores. Market stores, I can say, was a very nice idea, but the county designers did not pick the expectation of the trenders. Because most of your stores are not in use. Why? Unakuta, mtu ukifanya research kidogo, trenders wanasema, my merchandise cannot fit in this small hall. Mahali wanafungia mali yao. Kwa hivyo, that was a problem. The other one is when you conduct the public participation, muna prioritize, mnasema hapa sasa museme ile jambo kubwa mnataka ifanywe na county ni nini. Mnasema kwa hii ward tunataka hii. And it is not looked into. Since 2013, I want to give an example because you are here. Yes? In a place called Ikombe ward, where I come from. From Ikombe to Seko University is only 7 kilometers. Na tukasema, link us with this university with a big population that we can trend with. And that bridge has never been looked into, which can be of very good economic venture. And some of these items that you are discussing in SECEM, the forum for the 3 counties, that is a cross-cutting project. Therefore, that is our big concern. It has not been addressed. When we come to job creation, we supported the idea of governor, of leasing out land to investors so that they can build industries, so that they can employ our youth. And then the idea should not die. Once you are through with the case, go ahead and implement. That is very good. That is very good. Governments don't sell land to investors. Governments create enabling environment for investors so that they can employ their youth and get taxes. Then, the last bit is on youth. Kindly review your strategy. Youth will never come to those forums. Review your strategy, look for a consultancy team, employ them, let them go and talk to those youth, let them help them create artificial entities so that you can address the youth through those artificial entities. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of time, you'll allow me to stop the plenary at that because we've gone past our time so much. So I'm going to request our team up here to make their closing remarks as they respond to the questions. At least each of you have something to respond to. If you can do that in 2 to 3 minutes, please, so that we can be able to close, that will be good. So in the order in which we had the presentation, so we'll have Bwana Ngumi, Bwana Kithu, Professor Lewa, and then the county government. So you respond as you make your closing remarks, and then we'll be able to come to the end. So let's proceed.
There was a question by one of the, is it a pastor or somebody, a teacher or somebody, this lady here, I can't recall her name, it was about how the youth can be able to be engaged in the Council of Governors consultation process from the top down up to the top. I don't know that process for real. I've never heard about it. But what is coming out of what she mentioned is basically about how that can be done, unless the county government doesn't have a clue about that. What we were involved is the World Bank consultation process, which Lau and me were part of it, and they involved us in that process, right from top down, from the county to the Council of Governors. But if there are youth consultations done at the Council of Governors, I've never heard about them, unless I'm not aware. Unless the county, because the Council of Governors cannot come to the county without passing through the county government. If the county government at that information, then they don't share with us as youth in the county, then we might miss from that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I want to respond to the great teacher also. She talked about a code room. If I'm right, about the products that we are producing. Sometimes last year, we had a meeting with the county government. We gave a proposal, a very detailed proposal, and that was one of the main items. Because you find that most of our products in Machakos, they are going to waste because we do not have anywhere to store. So I hope the county government is still mulling on the pro. So maybe soon we are going to get some answers from the county government. Thank you.
Amjambo tena. Nashukuru sana kwa sababu nyinyi mmepata wakati na fursa ya kuingia. That shows that you are serious about participation. But let me tell you something. By the way, I'm quite experienced, so I can brag a little bit, and I thank God for that. Let me tell you, I've been to almost every country on this earth. Until people wake up and they start demanding the way we have been told here, you are wasting your time, you never develop. We shall die before we know what real development is. And I like the way, I think this gentleman is very informed. He spoke very well, and everybody else here. Kwa hivyo, tuchukue fursa ya kudemand. And I'll tell you I'm justified. Najua, rafiki yangu amesema, ako hapo tu lazima bottom up na up down zikutane somewhere. It's okay. But I can tell you, we as a country, and I'm speaking as now a Kenyan who is informed, we are tired of being told from the top what is going to happen down. We are tired. That will never give you development. This is why when a big politician somewhere decides, it will be Kioko. Tunaletewa mtu ambaye doesn't fit. But because they control us and our minds, Kioko ends up being the person we elect as an MP, a governor, because tunaambiwa. Kwa hivyo lazima tuchukue fursa ya kujua kwamba mambo yamepinduka. In the 60s, it was government doing things for people. In the 70s and 80s, we got a new thinking, a new orthodoxy called NPM. New public management. A new public management demands accountability and governance. And for it to work, mwananchi lazima sasa achukue fursa na anze kuitisha bila woga. Lakini akamba tuithi tuiwia. Akamba tuithi tuiwia. Ni kweli ndio nasema, tumesikia hiyo hata mkubwa wa kaunti amesikia. We need more civic education than anything else. Lakini pia wewe mzee, mahali unaenda kanisa, mahali unakutana na wazee, do civic education. This is what we are saying. People ask Unasikia watu wanalialia huku Kenya, oh, serikali saidia. Hiyo mambo imepitwa na wakati. The government has its own role, na wewe mwananchi uko na role yako. Finally, how many of you have seen the strategic plan ya Machakos County ambayo imekuja inaendelea ishe? How many have ever read it? Ile strategic plan ambayo inaisha sasa, when is it finishing? Strategic plan. Iko strategic plan nafikiri imeisha. Wakati moja USAID walinitafuta. No, it is called Machakos County Strategic Plan. Inaisha. Wakati moja USAID walikuja kunitafuta wakaniambia, tunakupatia fedha hizi, uende ufanye research, ufanye strategic plan ya Machakos County. I will tell you I'm disappointed because wananchi wajui. Na hiyo, okay, I was a consultant. And you can actually ask for copies. They are there. Mujue ni nini tulikuwa, na tuliuliza watu wengi na tukakutana na MCA, tukaenda around all over getting information. There is nothing new in this county that you don't know. Vile maendeleo yenu itakuja, iko kwa hiyo strategy. Sasa inaisha, mwananchi hasa soma, haja soma hiyo. So something is not right. We must get more involved in our own development. That is what is public participation. Finally, we are going to invite some of you soon. Nimewambia mimi ni consultant. Nimepewa kazi ya kuita nyinyi, tuongee namna hii, tuseme the 5 things or 6 maximum which are going to change Machakos County sikifanywa the next government if, lazima ni announce because it's public, hata ilikuwa kwa papers. If the deputy president becomes president and anataka kusign contract with us, tumwambie the 6 things that should be done in Machakos County, na akishindwa hatuwezi kuchagua yeye. That is if he becomes the president. And he has committed himself to signing a contract. Ndio nasema hata wewe mahali unaenda ukituitisha MCA, sign contract. Ukituitisha MP, sign contract. Ukitaka governor, sign contract. Ukitaka kuwa senator, sign contract with the people. Na tuanze kundemand. Tunachukua hizi contracts, tunauliza kila mwaka. Mwaka umeisha kabla ya wewe kuweka ile njia. Nimeambiwa about Ikombe. Yule amesema Ikombe, unajua ni tayari nimesikia Kitui team. Wamesema Ikombe na university should be combined. That's one of their projects. Nilisikia hiyo team ikiongea. Tuko na 3 teams, Makueni, Kitui na Machakos. I am coordinating the Machakos team. Na tutawaita. Msipoitwa, mjue hiyo ni bad consultation. Tuna plan tukutana about 300 people. Museme exactly, if the deputy president wants to be the president of this country, assign contract na sisi. Akishinda, kila mwaka tunamuuliza, tuko na hii list. Ulisema hii njia utaweka. Where is it? Ulisema utaanza agro processing industry katika 3 wards. Mahali wana produce greens and all that fruits. Iko wapi? Akishindwa, tafadhali, we have no time for you when you want to be the next, another term. Tuende hata kwa village kwa pastor. You know, I'm liberal. Mkipewa pastor kwenu kwa AIC, kwa ABC, kwa nini? Na father, na hata kwa mosque. Mnauliza imam, what are you going to do for us? Wewe pastor umekuja, utafanya nini? Andika, ukishindwa toka. Kenya must follow that, because that is what is governance and accountability. Mungu awabariki sana, na tutaendelea kuonana.
Thank you, Professor. There are many questions that have been directed to us, especially in the county government, and at least what I would request the director, Chalo, is just get the questions and get also the people, because there are few, talk to them and direct them to text them, link them to the direct departments. To the youth and everybody else, I liked it. I didn't answer this. My department is run by your comrades from Machakos University. They come there and they've done wonders and miracles to that. And I'm very thankful for that. Grace talked about how do you motivate youthful leaders to take, and I'll go by what Mr. Lau has said. Let us stop talking about how to motivate people. Let the youth take the leadership. If we say that people are 70%, the youthful population is 70%. Let me tell you, if, allow me to give an example of our university here. This university can tilt the votes of Kimakimwe. Sindio Bwana Lau? They are less, the winning votes were less than the votes, the student population. So it is time that people start having the conversation of, if we want some of these things to happen, it is good to say we have the government, but also it is also good to say, let us take the leadership. Women can change the narrative if they wanted. Instead of saying we want 30% of this and that, no, they can take all the seats, because most of the voters in Kenya are who? Yeah, it's about. I liked what Mr. Lau said here. It is about now taking, demand, take it and move and run. We have a lot of things, and Professor, you've also talked about also some things, and it is good. You will call us, and we are going to tell you a lot of things, because you know it is very hard to convince our youth wasome makasukume kami. It hurts. It is hard. So we need to change, to tweak a lot of narratives for us. Mr. Julius talked about being taken as rubber stamp. Take that in notice, because it's something I've heard, that people are taken as people to be dragged. We hear and we listen to the people, and they are taken back, and then year in, year out. And you go for public participation with us, and you know it's something now we have to give feedback to the people. We say that feedback is the breakfast for champions. Somebody talked about a forum of creating feedback. I will take that up. Yes. Yes.
The issue about the asbestos, where they are actually, mabache kuwekwa ndio msijue asbestos iko hapo, because I personally live meters from that gate.
Yeah.
I'm the first victim. The way that kuzuilia disturbance ya asbestos. When asbestos are kept somewhere and they're not being disturbed, the issue of them affecting people is minimal. The challenge is the county is looking for a landfill
to dispose.
We had one somewhere, but they were, the license ikachukuliwa. It was in Thika, wakakatazwa to dispose. So we are still looking for appropriate place to dispose those asbestos. So Julius, sio kwa ubaya. Your cry was heard, and we are doing the efforts. Sorry. I'm talking about the asbestos. I've said the asbestos where they are kept, I live 30 meters from where they are. My kids would be the first to be affected if anything was to happen. Incidentally, when those mabati ziliwekwa, I was the acting director, solid waste management. We have placed them in a government land and blocked any access to that particular place, not because we are hiding them from you, but because I can tell you in Lower Eastern there is no landfill to dispose those asbestos. No single, Lower Eastern, no single. We are negotiating whether we can get one in Western. But remember, asbestos have issues. You heard the other day, tulichimba mali, na mwenye tulichimba kwake zikawekwa, si ametupeleka kotini. We are supposed to pay a penalty of about 6 million as a county. So you can rest assured that we have not ignored your cry. We are looking for a solution.
There is something else he talked about, and it's good you take that to the ministry, about pollution. Yes, there is. We accept that there is noise pollution. Even at times walking around, becomes a nuisance. There's a gentleman who talked about lights, the representative of SUPKEM and the mosque. We, shika huu mzee mkono. We simama tafadhali. Naomba usimame akuone vizuri. He is the man in charge of lighting and electricity in Machakos County. He's the chief officer. Saidia mzee. Add him and also give him some solar. You know, I've seen that you've done a good job in converting the energy. So he will sort you out. He's called Newton. Yes, Newton is in charge of energy. If I were to go during Moi's days, ningesema na nimeamuru mara moja. It's only that now there is a process that we cannot make declarations. Yeah. You talked about food storage. He's addressed it, and we are working towards it. There are some people, the youth who said that they wanted to meet the leadership of Machakos. I will organize that because I'll first organize that to meet with the deputy governor. Yeah, and then he can prepare a forum for a bigger forum, not just Machakos University, but youthful representation within him. I know he's met whoever he wants to meet in Machakos anytime, and it is easy. We are not away from meeting anyone. There are very many things that have been taken. We've taken note, and I can promise you that it's only good that you give him Bonachalo. You can talk to the team, you give them your email address, your phone number, so that you consolidate all that for this, for the Kara meeting to be a success, especially the issues that touch us, and to ensure that everybody is given a feedback on the issues that they wanted to ask. If you give them your number, you can shoot it to you or the email so that they can write, and then you can be able to give feedback to the people. So, allow me to say, I really appreciate coming here, and I'll return this microphone to Mr. Ocheng, the CEO of Kara. Thank you. I might not have answered everything, but we'll consolidate and get a way of just giving you feedback. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Waziri and all the speakers. I think we've had a good session, and from us, our end as Kara, one of the things that I've taken away and we want to follow up on is if you agree, working with the people who were there from the initial time, if we can reactivate the Machakos Resident Association, so that we look at where we are, look at where maybe things didn't work well, and we reactivate it and work with you to make it more active and make sure that it is making an impact. So I'll want to have a discussion with you so that we see how to reactivate the association and use it as a vehicle for advocating for the interest of Machakos residents. I think that will be very, very useful for us, and we'll work together on that journey. Otherwise, I think personally it has been an impressive discussion, and I've learned, I hope you've also learned, and like Waziri has said, these issues will be shared with the county government. Some of them require action in terms of what needs to be done. Some of them require just update or feedback on where we are at and what the plans are in place. But I think what we are agreeing ultimately is that we need to be more serious with public participation. We need to have the frameworks in place. We need to have the thresholds in place. And we need to ensure that whatever we are doing in terms of this process is actually making sense. We are not doing to meet the letters of the law, but also the spirit, so that everything that we are doing can be reflected on what we are seeing on the ground in terms of decisions. So we will continue that conversation, and we'll be happy to continue engaging with the county government, with the civil society, and with everybody else who is a stakeholder in this county, so that we can move this agenda forward. So because we've taken so much time over what we are allocated, I don't want to take much time talking, but just to thank the speakers, to thank all of you for creating time, to thank our partners for being here with us and for supporting this initiative, and say that we will continue with this discussion moving forward, and also share with you some of the things that you've seen. I started by saying that we have been having this kind of platforms in various counties across the country. So there are places where we've seen best practice, there are places where we see things are working well. There are places where things are so bad that we've had to intervene on almost a physical confrontation between the county government and the citizens, because the citizens are so angry and they just can't understand why things are not happening in a certain way. So each county have their issues, but I think at the end of the day, if you're able to talk, if you're able to dialogue, we'll get a solution. And that's the essence of this kind of platform that I'm putting together. So asanteni sana, ladies and gentlemen, for creating out to be here with us.